Hello. I know the title of this video might sound a bit bold. Urologist reveals the forgotten mineral that boosts testosterone after 55. Before you assume I'm about to offer you a magic solution, a miracle shortcut, I ask for just a moment of your time. What I want to share with you today is something far more subtle, and in my experience, much more powerful and sustainable. It's not about artificially boosting anything. It's about understanding a detail most men overlook. The secret often isn't in what you consume, but in when and how you consume it. Almost every day, intelligent, successful men walk into my office. Men who have built families and careers, but who feel their bodies no longer respond as they used to. Their energy feels limited, sleep doesn't feel as restorative, and their overall drive just isn't the same. The first thing many of them do is reach for a multivitamin, a formula packed with ingredients, which they take religiously every morning with their coffee. And most of the time, the frustration remains. What I want to propose is a shift in perspective. What if the most important adjustment for your vitality isn't something you add in the morning, but something you fine-tune at the end of your day? I am Dr. Annabelle Reed. For over 20 years, I've dedicated my life to medicine with a degree, a doctorate, and a residency in urology from Stanford University. I had the opportunity to further my studies in Germany with a fellowship in sexual medicine and research on pelvic microcirculation, that delicate system of vessels so crucial to men's health. Over these years, especially at my clinic in Chicago, where I work with an integrated team, I've had the privilege of helping hundreds, perhaps thousands of men like you, particularly those in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s. And one of the most important things I've learned is that the feeling of decline is not your fault. It's a mix of physiology, the natural aging process, and the habits modern life has forced upon us. My goal here isn't to promise you'll feel 20 again. It is to offer practical, realistic guidance based on science and clinical experience, so you can live the best version of yourself today, at the age you are now. And our conversation now is about one of those fine adjustments, a detail that almost no one talks about. Many men have heard about the importance of magnesium. It's involved in countless processes in our body. Hundreds of biochemical reactions depend on it. But what almost nobody tells you is that this mineral's power, especially for male hormonal health after 60, seems to be deeply connected to timing. Most supplements are taken in the morning, but magnesium has a special characteristic. It is a master of relaxation. And when we talk about hormones like testosterone, nighttime relaxation, and consequently the quality of deep sleep are the main stage where the magic happens, what the evidence is beginning to suggest is that consuming a source of magnesium closer to the evening, combined with a routine that signals your body it's time to wind down, can create a much more favorable internal environment for your hormonal balance. And it's like watering a plant. You can have the best water in the world, but if you water it at noon under a scorching sun, much of it evaporates and never reaches the roots. Timing matters. With our bodies, the logic is similar. Giving it the right nutrient at the time it's most prepared to use it for a specific function can make all the difference. To understand why this can work, we need to talk a little about your physiology. Think of testosterone not as an isolated number on your blood test, but as a musician in a large orchestra. For the music to sound good, it's not enough for the musician to be present. He needs the other instruments to be quiet at the right time to be heard. In our body, one of the loudest instruments is cortisol, the famous stress hormone. During the day, in proper doses, it's useful, it keeps us alert, but at night, it's supposed to quiet down. In many men, due to hectic routines, worries, and poor sleep habits, cortisol continues to scream late into the night, and it competes for the same resources as testosterone. Magnesium enters here as a conductor who helps silence this loud section of the orchestra. It acts on the nervous system, helping to calm the mind and relax the muscles, preparing the body for deeper, more restorative sleep. And it is precisely on this stage of deep sleep that your body has the best chance to optimize its testosterone production. There is a second mechanism, a bit more technical but fascinating. Much of the testosterone in your blood circulates bound to a protein called SHBG. Imagine testosterone is a worker and SHBG is a bus. While the worker is on the bus, he can't do his job. Only the testosterone that jumps off the bus, the so-called free testosterone, is active and can perform its functions in the muscles, bones, brain, and your libido. Some smaller observational studies suggest that magnesium can help unbind some testosterone from SHBG. In other words, it can help more workers get off the bus to do their jobs. So, instead of thinking about increasing production, we're talking about optimizing the use of the testosterone you already have. This brings us back to the title of this video. The idea of boosting testosterone with a magic pill is seductive, but it's an illusion. An analogy I like to use is driving a car with the handbrake on. You can floor the accelerator, burn all the fuel, and strain the engine, but the car won't move properly. Chronic stress and poor quality sleep are like a powerful handbrake pulled up on your hormonal health. What we're proposing here is not to put a more powerful engine in your car. It's something much smarter. It's learning to release the handbrake. Magnesium, when used strategically within a nighttime routine, is one of the tools that helps release this brake. It doesn't do the work alone, but it facilitates the process, allowing your hormonal system, your engine, to run more smoothly and optimized for your age and current condition. So, how can we, in practice, start to release this handbrake? I like to think of it as a habit stack, where each layer builds on the previous one, creating a synergistic effect. The first layer, and perhaps the most important, has nothing to do with adding something, but with taking something away. It's the adjustment of your caffeine clock. Coffee and teas like black tea are great in the morning, but caffeine has a long life in our system. For most men over 60, consuming it after 2 p.m. is like asking that cortisol instrument to keep playing loudly at night. So the first step is simple. Stop all stimulant consumption by 2 in the afternoon. This alone prepares the ground for a more relaxed body in the evening. The second layer happens about 90 minutes before your bedtime. This is the digital sundown ritual. The blue light emitted by the screens of phones, tablets, and televisions is a powerful signal to our brain that it's still daytime. It can interfere with the production of melatonin, the hormone that governs our sleep cycle. Therefore, 90 minutes before bed, turn off the screens, swap the TV or news feed for a paper book, a magazine, a quiet conversation with your partner, or even listening to calm music. The third layer is where we introduce our mineral. In this moment of tranquility, you can start in the safest and most natural way possible, through food. A small handful of unsalted pumpkin seeds or almonds, for example. These are foods rich in magnesium and, when consumed in this context of relaxation, can begin to signal to your body that it's time to repair. And finally, the fourth layer, already in bed, ready to sleep. Take 5 minutes to focus only on your breath. Close your mouth and breathe slowly and deeply only through your nose. Nasal breathing has an incredible physiological effect of activating our parasympathetic nervous system, which is the body's rest and repair mode. It's the opposite of the fight or flight stress mode. Inhale for a count of 4, hold for a moment, and exhale slowly through your nose for a count of 6. Just 5 minutes. These 4 layers together create a powerful ritual that can gradually improve the quality of your rest. And of course, an essential general precaution, if you are considering a magnesium supplement, a conversation with your doctor is mandatory. They will know how to recommend the most appropriate type and dose for you, taking your overall health into account. In this process, it's very common to make a few mistakes that end up sabotaging the results. The first is taking a magnesium supplement or eating the seeds, along with a glass of milk or a piece of cheese. Calcium and magnesium compete for the same absorption pathway in the intestine. It's like 2 cars trying to pass through a narrow gate at the same time. To optimize magnesium absorption, it's best to consume it at least an hour apart from foods very rich in calcium. Another mistake is the choice of the supplement form. Should you opt for one with medical guidance? Forms like magnesium oxide, very common in cheap multivitamins, tend to have very low absorption in the gut, and for many people can even cause gastric discomfort or diarrhea. There are other forms like bisglycinate or malate, which are usually gentler on the digestive system and better absorbed. A third very human mistake is impatience, expecting transformative results in 2 or 3 days. The improvement in sleep quality, morning energy, and sense of well-being is a gradual process. The body needs time to rebalance, And the most fatal mistake of all is to focus only on the mineral and ignore everything else. Taking the best supplement in the world while still going to bed at 1 in the morning, scrolling through your phone with the light in your face. Magnesium is not a magic pill. It's a first-class supporting actor in a play where the lead role is played by your routine, your sleep hygiene. I imagine you might have some objections in mind right now. Perhaps you're thinking, "Doctor, but I already take a complete multivitamin every morning." As I said, most of these products contain low bioavailability forms of magnesium in doses that may not be ideal and are taken at the least strategic time for sleep optimization. Or maybe you've already tried taking magnesium at night and saw no results. Here, I would ask you, how long did you try? And did you combine it with the other layers of our ritual, like reducing blue light and controlling caffeine? Consistency and combination are key. The effects are cumulative. For those concerned about cost, my recommendation is always to start with food. Pumpkin seeds, almonds, nuts, and dark leafy greens like spinach are excellent and affordable sources. The only initial investment is in the habit itself. And if you're a man who already uses medication for erectile function, know that optimizing sleep, reducing cortisol, and improving your overall vascular health, something a good night's rest promotes, can in many cases enhance your response to those treatments. Think of it as preparing the soil well before planting the seed. Over the years, I've seen small changes like these generate very positive reports. I remember Mr. David well, a retired engineer from Denver, 68 years old. He came to the clinic with the classic complaint of fatigue that wouldn't go away, even after sleeping 7 or 8 hours. His sleep was fragmented, as he described it. We didn't start any medication, we just adjusted his evening routine. I suggested he swap the television news before bed for a book and introduce a small handful of pumpkin seeds as a sleep ritual. About a month later, he returned. His words were, "Doctor, it feels like my battery is finally recharging fully overnight." He reported waking up more refreshed, and as a bonus that made him very happy, a noticeable improvement in the quality of his morning erections. Another case that stood out was Mr. Robert from Austin, 62 years old. He traveled a lot for work, lived in different time zones, and his sleep was completely unregulated. The simple introduction of the 5-minute nasal breathing practice before sleep, something he could do in any hotel room in the world, combined with a magnesium supplement guided by his doctor, brought him a clear improvement in his sense of recovery in the morning. He said he used to wake up feeling run down and started waking up feeling whole. These are individual, anecdotal cases, of course, but they illustrate the power of small, consistent adjustments. It is my professional duty, however, to put the science into perspective. The direct link between magnesium supplementation and increased testosterone is supported by observational studies, which show that men with higher levels of magnesium in their bodies tend to have higher levels of free testosterone, and by some smaller studies with athletes and sedentary men, which showed some positive effect. But, to be very honest with you, we do not yet have large clinical trials, those considered the gold standard of science, that prove a clear and universal cause and effect relationship for all men. The physiological logic, as we've discussed, is very plausible, but the results can vary enormously from person to person, depending on your diet, your stress levels, and your genetics. Therefore, please view this content for what it is: an educational tool, a strategy to optimize your lifestyle and create more favorable conditions for your health. It never replaces a complete medical evaluation to investigate the causes of a potential hormonal issue or any other symptom you may be experiencing. Before we conclude, and before you think about starting any changes, I need to talk about safety. This is the most important part of our conversation. Before starting any type of magnesium supplementation, speaking with your trusted doctor is fundamental and non-negotiable. This is especially critical if you have any kidney conditions, as they are responsible for filtering and eliminating excess mineral from your body. Men with certain heart conditions like arrhythmias or atrioventricular block, or those who use certain types of antibiotics or anticoagulant medications, also need very careful professional guidance, as there can be interactions. Pay attention to your body. If you start using a supplement and experience symptoms like excessive muscle weakness, a drop in blood pressure, dizziness, or mental confusion, stop using it and seek medical attention. And please always remember that symptoms like A sudden and sharp drop in your libido, your energy, or your erectile function always deserve a thorough medical investigation to rule out other causes. Don't assume, investigate. If the approach we discussed today, about the importance of timing, routine, and how small layers of habits can add up to support your health, made sense to you, I would like to ask you a favor. Comment below with the number 1 and tell me which city you're watching from. I truly enjoy knowing where you are all from. And if you have a friend, a brother, or a relative over 55 who might be complaining of fatigue and could benefit from this information, please share this video with them. Sometimes an honest conversation without false promises is the first step toward a great change. Remember, your body hasn't forgotten how to work, it might just be operating with a few brakes on. The journey to better health after 60 isn't about intensity, but about consistency. It's about having dignity, autonomy, and the joy of feeling good in your own body. Thank you very much for your attention.